Radio. Rahim with Tony Bellew in the Arturo Gatti swag. Seems wildly appropriate. So talk to me about your feelings about this legendary fighter.
Oh, mate, an absolute iconic boxing figure. Potentially one of the most exciting fighters to ever get in a boxing ring. So yes, I always like to represent sort of fighters in one way or another at these events.
It's interesting to have a Gatti shirt on or a jacket on now because he was known for mixing it up, like really banging it hard and doing the kind of work in the gym that is traditionally the legend of boxing, right? And over the course of this week, I've talked to Joshua, and he's talked about leaving kind of the science behind, not the sweet science, but the technical, like, advancements, and just going back to chopping wood and running the roads and doing the road work. Do you believe that that is like a better way to prepare for this sport?
I mean, boxing can be in a little bit of the dark ages at sometimes, and some guys training, running in sweatsuits and running for miles and miles and miles at a steady state pace. It's had its day and it's seen its time. I do agree with the science now dictates how we train as fighters and the things that we do, but ultimately, there's nothing better than returning to some of the old values. So whether it's hitting the heavy bag or whether it's out there doing sprints or whether it's chopping wood, you do what works for you ultimately, and that's the most important thing.
A lot's been spoken about the mentality of Joshua coming into this fight, whether or not his head's still in it, whether or not he has the kind of confidence that a fighter needs, especially at this level, to succeed. Do you think there's been any changes in him since the Usyk second fight?
No, not at all. I mean, there's going to be no confidence issues. The guy's worked extremely hard. I've seen him in camp. I've seen him in Dallas. Himself, Derek James. They're working extremely hard to correct the things that they feel need correcting. And he's just got to go out there on Saturday night and show what he's been working on. And if he does that, he wins, and he wins in exciting fashion.
Do you reckon there's a difference between the American style and approach to preparing for a fight and the British way?
I've been on both sides, and I've trained in New York. I've trained at Gleason's gym for a couple of months at a time. No. Listen, you do what's right for you, and whether that's an English way or an American way, it really makes no difference. The only difference that I can tell you in preparing between England and America is the sparring is a lot more brutal in America. It's literally kill or be killed. It's like a contest, whereas over here we tend to use sparring as a tool to get fitter and to get sharper and to gauge things. But we just ultimately it comes down to what happens under the lights. That's all that really matters, Rahim. What happens under the lights. No one cares about the camp. No one cares about what's going on in Dallas. People only care about how he looks when he gets on them scales there today and how he looks when he gets under the lights tomorrow night.
Well, I can't just talk past Jermaine Franklyn. He intends to turn up today on the scales and under the hot lights on Saturday night. What kind of chance do you give him to pull an upset at the O2?
I think he's a good fighter. I think he pushed Dillian White all the way. But at the same time, I think it's a good match for Anthony Joshua, I'm not going to lie. He's smaller, he's weaker. He's got a good boxing IQ. I like his inside game. He's not afraid to get stuck in. But I just feel he's never seen anyone with AJ's speed and power before. And also with the speed of the combination punching, it's something else.
AJ has said, kind of famously now, but recently, that he's just in it for the money. The legacy and the belts and undisputed ads, it's too much bother to chase that. Do you believe that? And do you think that's like a healthy way maybe to enter this stage of his career?
It's called prize fighting, Rahim. We're all in it for the money. That's how it starts. We all have a dream, want to become world champion. Once you see that dream through, which I have, it's purely about the money. He's lived his dream. He's not just been a world champion, he's been a unified world champion. He's successfully held and defended 3 out of 4 belts in the division. He's an Olympic gold medalist. It's about money. So, yes, he wants to avenge losses. Yes, he'll want to win back them belts, but ultimately, he wouldn't do it if he weren't being paid. Neither would any other fighter on the planet. It's a money-driven business.
I know that it's a money-driven business, but there's also that desire to be great. I want to be the best. That desire to put your legacy down in history.
That's why he kills himself in the gym every day, because he wants to be the best version of him. But it costs an awful lot of money to go over to Dallas with a team. It costs an awful lot of money to put you up in Dallas in mansions and lovely places and train. And so, like I say, it's a money-driven business. Yes, of course he wants to be great. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's a unified heavyweight champion of the world. He's wealthy beyond measure. What drives him? What is making him put his body through hell? And believe you me, he's gone to hell and back in this camp. I've seen it. I've witnessed it personally. He's worked extremely hard. I just hope he shows the fruits of his labour tomorrow night.
Was there a stage in your career when it became more about money than these kind of things we're talking about?
As soon as I won the world title. That's all it was about. I wish I could have retired after I won the world title, but I couldn't. I was in no position. Financially, I was broke. I become British, Commonwealth, European and world champion. I didn't have a pot to piss in. And then it became about money. And I chased the highest profile with the highest payday possible. And I got him. I got him well and truly.
Is all you miss about boxing the money?
No, I don't miss the money at all. I don't actually like money. It annoys me. It annoys me how much it annoys other people. So when people go on to me and want to call me names, all I need to do is refer to how much money I've made, and that kills them, writes them off. And I actually hate money. All this money is an expectation. All that money brings to me is problems. And people think that it solves everyone's problems. Money's a fucking deterrent. Money is the root of all evil. I understand that and I get it. So yeah, but that's another case, that's another story. The things that money can't buy, mate, are the most important things in the world.
Well, one of the guys that's making the most money in the sport is Canelo Alvarez. He'll be coming up against one of your countrymen soon.
Yes.
How do you see John Ryder faring in that fight?
John is a problem. No one will just brush John Ryder aside. John is a headache. Don't get me wrong. Canelo Alvarez is the best active counterpuncher in boxing today. Absolutely phenomenal counterpuncher. So John will have to be prepared to take it every time he flinches, every time he twitches, makes a mistake. He has to be prepared to pay the price because he's gone in. Make no mistake about it. Every twitch, every slight mistake, anything that goes wrong, he's going to pay quite heavily too. So, Canelo Alvarez is an absolutely unbelievably gifted fighter. Like I've said, the best counterpuncher of this era right now. You know, after Floyd Mayweather, after Juan Manuel Marquez, he's the best counterpuncher I've seen in a long time.
We know that Canelo's coming off one loss. 2 losses would be really devastating for him, so he's probably coming to top form. You think John can be a second loss in a row on Canelo's record?
I'm not sure about that. I think he can cause him a lot of problems. I do think he can cause him a lot of problems, and I think the size is not going to be really a factor because he's not a lot bigger than Canelo. And Canelo's face bigger and stronger than John, but I just think John's tenacity, John's eagerness and willingness to exchange will give Canelo a few problems, and his actual inside strength, that will give him a few problems. He's not called a gorilla for nothing.
Well, before that, we'll see probably the most anticipated fight of the year so far in Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Break that fight down for me.
Can't wait to see it. Really like both fighters. But I just can't see Ryan Garcia going 12 rounds without getting caught clean. I do think he'll be ahead when he gets stopped, but I do believe he gets stopped. I think Tank Garcia is the biggest, Gervonta Davis is the biggest puncher I've seen in the lighter-weight division since Nassim Hamed. This boy is a killer. And his finishing instincts are second to none. He hits you, he finishes you every single time. There is no debating that. So I haven't seen a finishing instinct and a kill instinct like that since Hamed.
You see any holes in his game?
Of course, his work rate, his lack of flow and starting slow in fights, hugely. That's why I think he will be behind against Ryan Garcia. Ryan will start quick. He is lightning fast. When you've got speed like that, there is no need to get into exchanges because you can hit someone and be gone before he even reacts. But he doesn't. He seems to switch off in fights and he seems to get caught. If he can iron out them problems before he faces Ryan Garcia, before he faces Gervonta, then he has a chance. But I don't see him going 12 rounds without getting hit clean, Rahim. And I think the moment he hits the floor will be the moment he gets taken out.
Yeah, Ryan's entering with a lot of confidence. He seemed to be the one to pushing and making that fight.
I see it, and I credit him. Can't give him enough credit. Believes in himself, is pushing himself, well done to him. That's all you can say. But he's a beast. Who you going in with?
We see an undisputed fight that has been anticipated for a couple of years on the horizon in Devin Haney and Lomachenko. First, do you think this fight is different now than it might have been 2 years ago? And who wins it coming up in May?
I always said the thing that beats Lomachenko is size. I think a slow start is what affected him against Teofimo Lopez, but Teofimo Lopez got the job done. I just think Haney might be too big. Literally, he's just too big. He's clever, knows how to attribute. Devin Haney takes me back to a young Floyd Mayweather. A man who's cautious, safety first, but adapts, and that's the biggest thing that he's got in his game. Doesn't have one set style, Devin Haney. He can adapt and he can change, and that's why I relate him to a young Floyd Mayweather so much. It takes me back to his style and the way he uses it and puts it to work of a kind of a Mayweather against a Corrales. That's what it reminds me of. The late great Diego Corrales. And yeah, I see so many things to like in Devin. I mean, I'd like to see a little bit more, but once again, it's just like Floyd, a little bit more. I'm going to put it on you now. I've broke you down, I've figured you out, I've solved all your problems, but then there's a tendency to just cruise when I feel like he could put his foot down, but I'm pretty sure he's got weight issues because he is huge at the weight, and I'm pretty sure he struggles to get down, and I think that's why we haven't seen him in the championship rounds later on in fights open up and say, I'm going to get rid of you. I think we'll see that with a move up in weight, but then ultimately, once these boys start coming anywhere near Shakur Stevenson, I believe he's the one.
And lastly,
I don't think anyone's beating him.
Nobody's beating Shakur Stevenson. That's your horse.
Yeah, I don't think no one's beating that boy. I think he's exceptional.
Lastly, we are fortunate to be able to talk about so many great fights on the horizon. We just spoke about an undisputed matchup, but the undisputed matchup that we would be anticipating talking about right now, which would be bigger than all of them, would be for the heavyweight championship of the world. Tyson Fury-Usyk couldn't get made. There's all this back and forth about why. Why do you reckon that fight is not done?
Well, I'm not sure about the most anticipated because I think a Mr. Spence and a Mr. Crawford might have an argument or two to say about that, but that's another story. With Tyson and Alexander, I don't know. I say none of my business. You're asking me a question, so I'll answer it. Took the shorter end of the stick, tried to do everything he possibly could, bent over backwards to make it happen, and still didn't happen, so I don't know.
You think Tyson did everything he could?
I think the man taking the 30% when you come into the ring with 3 out of 4 belts in a division is bending over backwards to make things happen.
So you mean Usyk did everything that he could to make?
I know, because I know how easy they are to deal with. I've dealt with them. Easiest team in the world to deal with. Things just get done. You sign it and it's done. I know because I fought them for all 4 belts and a Ring Magazine belt as well. So I've done it. I speak from experience. Easy team to deal with. And that was when he did have all the marbles. I dealt with him. So a brilliant champion, a brilliant fighter. As is Tyson Fury, the number 1 heavyweight in the world right now. But it's an increasing problem. Everyone who wants to fight him has increasing problems, whether it's Dillian White, whether it's Anthony Joshua, whether it's Alexander Usyk. Everyone has problems with trying to make a fight with him. Why? It's a growing trend. He had never in before as Alexander Usyk had a problem making a fight. He's now come across a problem making a fight. AJ doesn't have a problem fighting anyone. No problems in making fights with anyone. Who did he have a problem making a fight with? So it's crazy, but this is boxing.
I mean, Tyson is a fan favorite here on this side of the pond for sure. His popularity was on the rise, but in my comment section and on Twitter and the places where social media is preeminent, a lot of fans are very critical of him at this stage.
So he should be. He's the best heavyweight in the world. He brings a lot of popularity to the business, to the game, to that fight. Use it in the right way. Don't use it to call people names, petty and childish, insult people. Use your platform to rise people up. Use your platform to make our sport better. Don't use your platform to drag our sport further than it already is.
Do you have an opinion on to why it is that the situation is the way it has been in the past year or so with these fights you're talking about not being able to make?
We'll talk
Catch up in a minute. Go on.
Why do you think Fury is taking this approach?
Because it's just the way. So many people in your ear, and you believe the hype, you believe the nonsense. When so many people keep telling you, then you believe it. That's just the top and bottom. You believe your own hype.
You talked about Spence, Crawford. Yes, if that fight were made, of course, that would be the most anticipated fight in the boxing.
I would go and see that. I haven't gone to see a fight anywhere in a long time. When I'm not working, I would go and see that. I'm intrigued by that fight. Errol is a phenomenal fighter. The modern day Marvin Hagler. And then you've got Spence, who is just a box of tricks with substance, with power, has everything. I genuinely have I've edged towards Bud these last few months, but in real, honest opinion, I have no idea what happens in that fight, and I'm so intrigued by it.
Do you have any idea why that fight hasn't been made?
Politics. Once again, one man's bending over backwards to try and make it. Terence Crawford is a free agent. I sat with Terence while we were doing Creed 3, the movie. Both of us were in it. And we had a good chat, and he was like, Tone, I'm trying to do everything I can. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. I spoke to Errol most recently. Errol just wants to fight anyone and everyone. He lives in the gym, that young man. A phenomenal professional. A role model professional. Who, as I say, lives in the gym. And I'd really like both guys. And I just think it would be a brilliant fight.
You know, you are an actor now. I hadn't really thought of that. Of course, I've seen you in the Creed movies, and, it brings a smile to your face.
Thank you.
How's that chapter of your professional career going?
It's going okay. Would I do more? Of course, 100%, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm a busy person at the minute. I do an awful lot, and most importantly, I have my Weapons Down, Gloves Up organisation where we're trying to keep kids off the streets, get them into full-time employment. We want to stop knife and gun crime in this country. We all need to come together and do what we possibly can to affect change in the youth, change in the kids. And I'm so busy, Rahim. I've got a lot of things to do, a lot of things on. But life would be boring if I had nothing to do.
Before I let you go, a recent fight that I worked that had captivated the kids, as we say. Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. Obviously, your countryman was the first to be able to stop Jake Paul in the ring. What'd you make of that fight?
I did pay for it. I've got 4 kids, and 3 out of 4 wants to see it badly. So I had to bite the bullet and pay for it. Good luck, good on them. Yeah. They've had a good go, made the right few quid each. Fair play to them. Good luck to them.
You think this puts Tommy Fury on a road to be a contender?
For what?
In boxing.
Why? Who's he beat?
Well, okay, I get it. Jake Paul, he's the first guy to beat him. The confidence now that maybe he has as a boxer, the credibility he's gotten.
Credibility
he beat Jake Paul.
And who's Jake Paul?
Well, he's the guy that made your kids want to buy pay-per-view.
Exactly, but what's that got to do with boxing?
Yeah, fair play.
What's that got to do with rankings? Who's Jake Paul beat? Who's ranked?
You think Jake Paul can beat Tommy Fury in the rematch?
I have no idea. I mean, I don't know. Watching that fight was just a bit weird, a bit strange. It wasn't really a boxing match. It's 2 guys both petrified of losing instead of wanting to embrace a win, if that makes sense. Instead of going for a win, just 2 guys who are petrified of losing. And that was the best way of looking at that fight. None of the guys going for it to want to win to show how great I am or show how much better than you I am. Just, I'm nervous. I can't afford to lose this fight. And both fought so apprehensively, it was unbelievable. So neither of them showed the true qualities. Neither of them showed what they can really do. And that was the worst part about it all, to be honest, because I do think they've both got so much more to show. One is a bit more powerful than the other. Tommy is probably naturally a better boxer than Jake, but both of them, if I'm being brutally honest, froze under the lights and were lost in there at times. And that's just an outside look on the way in, but I wish them both luck. Good on them. They're making a few quid. And no one got hit, so it's great.
A lot of people see paydays in this crossover boxing, and we've seen a lot of, like for instance, Roy Jones is fighting tomorrow night.
Really?
Yeah.
Against who?
Yeah. I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah. Roy Jones is fighting tomorrow night.
Yeah, my hero. The greatest fights to ever put on gloves.
When you see these money bags out there, do you ever think, maybe I'd come back for one more, do an exhibition with somebody?
I'm good. I'm okay, man. I'm doing all right. Roy was my hero growing up. I absolutely idolised him. I've never seen a fighter so equal in offense and defense, ever. Like, you think you see something special in Lomachenko. This guy was Lomachenko, this guy was Mike Tyson, this guy was Nigel. This guy was so many fighters rolled into one. This guy could do anything. This guy played a game of semi-professional basketball and then went and beat the #1 contender on the same day, Eric Lucas. So,
do you think all that greatness might be why he just can't leave it alone?
Possibly. I do get that side of it. It's very hard when you've been doing something for 25 years and then you wake up on a Sunday morning and you don't do it no more. It's hard. It's not nice. It's lonely. And I get it. And I was never, ever at the level of the great Roy Jones. You know, yes, I've won a world title. Yes, I've beat former heavyweight champions of the world. I've won British Combat European. But what Roy done, unbelievable. So I get why it's so hard to let go. But I hope and I really pray he does let go, because I don't want to see him get hit.
My sentiments are the same. I've said as much before. I wish a lot of these guys would just live in their legend as you have. I'm glad you've got a new chapter. I love seeing you on the screen. It's a pleasure to talk to you always, and the time. I really appreciate it. It's an honor. Radio Rahim with Tony Bellew.
Thank you very much.